Hey, deserving listeners, it's time for me to react to your comments from my videos from last week. Let's get to it. Love is Blind, Season 8, number 99. This is the last comments video. So I'm commenting on a comment on me reacting to your comments from my comments while I was watching a reality TV show, commenting on the comments of the cast members. Two Leaf member SD Vur says, "Can we take a moment to discuss how awesome your shirt is?" Yeah, I was wearing an awesome shirt in the last comments video, and I recommend his merch. You know, when you order shirts over the internet, you never know what you're going to get in terms of quality. And as with our merch, I will say, I would say that the shirt is of good quality. I ordered a Honda auto shirt recently and tried it on, and you could see my entire torso. Speaking of, it was like I was wearing just like a cellophane shirt or something. And I'm thinking, why would someone wear a shirt that you could distinguish the chest hairs on their body? It's like, okay. So next comment, Full Corn member Laura Anka says, this comment is in response to me being a little bit bewildered and hurt, I guess, about people criticizing me or being hostile with me or something. Hostile might be too far, but anyway, criticizing me because as I was during the reunion saying, I don't know if this is fair to come to the reunion and blast them when they don't seem to be doing the same. They seem, with Devin, for example, he seemed to be coming to the reunion willing to not attack and to play nice. And even though he might have legitimate things he could say, having been dumped at the altar, that kind of thing. Now, I'm not saying the criticism, anyway, so this is in response to that. I definitely felt that some of the commenters, meaning the commenters on my video, were very much against trying to understand and explain what might be going on with Ben and Devin, equating your explaining it with endorsement. You've even said a couple of times that if you had been in Sarah's and Virginia's shoes, you would not have moved forward with them in the pods. Just chiming in. Yeah, thanks for reminding me about that. There were many times that I would say that I would have personally, and everyone, this isn't healthy or unhealthy, it's just a personal preference with Devin and with Ben. At the first sign of ambiguity, I would have said, well, this isn't going to work. It sucks that we seem to be really hitting it off, but I know myself, I will never be able to reconcile that way of responding to questions about politics. I'll never be able to cope with that. I just know myself. And I'm not saying that's healthy or a good thing. I'm just saying that's just, unfortunately, well, I don't know if it's fortunate or unfortunate, but it's a thing. I'm not endorsing it. In fact, if everyone was like me in this way, I think it would be really bad for our society. So anyway, not to say that the way Virginia and Sarah reacted was bad in any way. I'm just saying I understand. Anyway, so in my mind, it was clear that you were not endorsing Ben and Devin. I do find those comments frustrating because I am here to learn and understand, and sometimes the comments section is amazing. People sharing insight, perspectives, and even supporting each other. For instance, the comment you read from the person who experienced parentification, their comment helped me understand my partner better. End of comment. Yeah, agreed. So, but, people can voice their criticism within a certain limit of critique, I suppose, to give everyone, including me, the benefit of the doubt, as I will give you. And that's all fine and good, and that's all part of the plurality of opinion and reactivity and conversation. Without that, we would just be in an echo chamber, and we don't want to be that. On on the other hand, there's clearly a culture that this channel and you, because in the comments section, that we are swimming upstream against, which is the black and white, undifferentiated, immature. I say those things with care, but it is black and white, immature, undifferentiated, unsophisticated way of looking at the world, including human beings, in that you're either for or against people. People are either good or evil. And if they're not good, then they're 100% evil, evil, evil. And to some extent, I've even seen reality TV show audiences hate literally all cast members, that everyone is a deplorable human being, but some are more deplorable. So we're swimming upstream on that. I think things are changing. I don't know if that's just my anecdotal experience. At least I would hope so. But anyway, next video, number 101, Madison calls Mason manipulative. In this video, I must have talked about the no socks thing again. Full Corn member Ramey says, no socks are a no-go. Dr. Honda, come on. Don't you have fond memories of Miami Vice like I do? Don Johnson and Crockett are still my fashion icons. Duly noted. Number 102, Mason confronts Madison. Two Leaf member Marie says, I think a comedy of errors, the way you're putting it, is a perfect way to describe Madison and Mason. I'm surprised how hard it is for viewers to see both viewpoints. And I'm glad you understand what I'm saying, because I don't always know if my little idioms or phrases are understood by people, but that's the phrase that comes to mind for me. At Lorax says, I think the key lesson here is that direct communication is preferable. Six Leaf member Lifting a Garden says, wow, didn't think I'd end this video with the realization that I might be mildly dyslexic. I also have trouble writing words down when people spell them out to me. I ask them to slow down every time. I always just attributed this to being more of a visual learner kind of person. End of comment. Yeah, when we experience anomalous or frustrating things, we will look to culture to provide an answer, right? And the discourse around visual learning versus hands-on learning versus audio learning is way more out there than the nuances of what I would call mild dyslexia or even just dyslexia in general. The public understanding of dyslexia is extremely limited. So when you're experiencing, and this is what I went through. I, for 54 years or 53 up until last year, was experiencing a lot of, like dozens of experiences that are very easily considered within the experience of having mild dyslexia, and yet had never, and I was similar. I know enough about the research around visual learning versus audio versus hands-on versus, I can't remember all the different types, but the way that distinction is talked about is way overblown. It's sort of like left brain, right brain, or different kinds of love languages. It isn't a bad way to think about pedagogy or learning, but it's overblown in terms of the way it's talked about. People say, I'm a visual learner and therefore this, and this, and it's usually not the case. So, we look. It's sort of like, forgive me, but when people are struggling with relationships or their career or something, astrology is out there, whereas like real science about personality and motivation and actual mental health issues that could get in the way, or culture or systems or oppression, these things are not talked about enough, and they're too complicated, whereas astrology is extremely. So visual learning is a similar kind of thing. You can have a very quick TikTok or Instagram post about it that is easily comprehensible, whereas the kinds of factors that actually play into life are way more complicated, hence all of my yammering. All right, so this next comment is long, but I think very important. But let's pause here, and the rest of this video will be for members. By the way, I think this is the last comments video I'm going to make until the next, I don't know, depending on what the next show is in which I'm posting 2 videos a week. Like if it's the next Love is Blind season, season 9, or if Queer Love finally comes out. I think those are the 2 that I plan on watching fully and posting 2 videos a week or a day. So it's been fun reacting to your comments. I'll tell you that Stacy puts a lot of the positive. What she does is she populates this Google Doc with a lot of the comments, and then I go through it and kind of pare it down, because if I reacted to all the comments, I would be talking here for 3 hours. But she does that on purpose so that she can allow me to select. But a lot of the comments she'll include that I don't read in these videos are positive things, and I think Stacy puts those in there to be encouraging to me to some extent, which is nice. And also, I'll just look at the comments sometimes, obviously myself, and particularly member comments, because I can sort it by that. And I just want to say that it's been great to put it simply. It's been meaningful and important and a big part of my life, emotionally and professionally and purpose-wise. So there's that. And I want to also commend everyone for furthering our culture of sophistication and differentiation and maturity and nuanced thinking, and giving people the benefit of the doubt, having self-compassion, self-disclosing, even when they might be the sort of things that would get you canceled on the internet. Admitting that you think you might actually be abusive or narcissistic, or the sort of person that would ghost someone, or an avoider or something. These sorts of comments in other venues would cause all sorts of bullying and mistreatment, whereas our comment section is created by you completely. Of course, there's a certain sort of person that would watch this channel, but you are doing that, and that is a collective decision and a collective movement that benefits all of us, I think, in my opinion. So, until the next, I don't know what we want to call it, I think of it like as tax season for me, like when I'm working a lot, right? But we have to have a different, like 2 a day. In football, American football, in the summer before school classes started, we had this thing called 2 a day or 3 a day, where you would have 2 or 3 practices a day. It was this intensive time. There were laws that said that you couldn't start practicing football until, I think, 2 weeks before the first day of school. And so in order to be competitive with other high schools, all the schools would have this very intensive practicing and also weeding out players, that sort of thing, and figuring out who's going to play what. And there would be 2 or 3 practices a day, starting at like 7 a.m. in the morning and going till like 6 or 7 at night. They would say 2 or 3 a day, but really it was just all day long with a couple breaks, you know what I mean? And so that's the image that comes up for me. So maybe it's just that, like 2 a day season. Until the next 2 a day season, this is the last comments video. But anyway, let's take a break here. The rest will be for members. And everyone out there, please take care of yourself, because you deserve it. You really, really do.